Alright, get ready for probably one of my favorite decks today. We're back in Historic No Ban List, and we are taking a look at Sultai Fog Turns. So this is a deck that is based almost entirely on the Simic Fog deck that was possible in War of the Sparks Standard and Historic. This was a crazy time for Magic. We had a lot of cool cards that we could play at that time. We had Wilderness Reclamation, a card that was banned because of this deck for the most part. Nexus of Fate, another card that I believe was banned because of this deck. Nexus of Fate, one of the few extra turn spells that does not exile. Generally one of the reasons that it's banned. And Wilderness Reclamation, basically a doubling of your mana if you use it right with instant speed effects. So the whole deal with Wilderness Reclamation is you want to get this out as early as possible, because that allows you to play any of your instant speed spells with all the mana that you untap with every turn, and then you can focus your mana during your turn to playing threats like Tamiyo, one of the enablers in our deck. She, in addition to her ability to not allow us to sacrifice cards or discard, you can, for +1, start searching for cards. And there are specific cards that we want to hit in this deck. And for -3, she can reuse a card in your graveyard. So what we want to do is we want to play some fog effects as we set up for our Wilderness Reclamation turns. Once a Wilderness Reclamation is down, you'll have some number of lands on the battlefield. Say it's like 4 or 5 lands. When Wilderness Reclamation triggers, what you can do is you can float all your mana and then allow Wilderness Reclamation to untap. So now in your end step, you'll have essentially double the mana. And so for something like Nexus of Fate, that's just a free, easy extra turn here. And what we want to do with Tamiyo is basically first search up some of our fog effects. We're running Root Snare and Haze of Pollen, the 2-mana effects. And we want to make it so that our opponent can't kill Tamiyo and can't kill us. And Tamiyo can name whatever we have not seen more of. So if we've played a few Hazes of Pollen, we'll search for Root Snare and vice versa. And once we have a couple of these in hand and have been able to pull some out of the graveyard, what Tamiyo can do instead is start to +1 looking for Nexus of Fates. As we find Nexus of Fates, we're going to start casting these. We're going to, keep digging through our deck with all of our spells. And we want to just continually cast Nexus of Fates, which shuffle back into our library when they would hit the graveyard. And eventually we'll get our deck down to a state where we've drawn everything, and there's just a couple of Nexus of Fates left. From that point, we're able to use Tamiyo to name Nexus of Fate, draw our 4 Nexus of Fates, and then there's nothing left in our library, so a Jace that we play can end the game for us. It's a pretty cool deck, and we just have an eventual win after taking enough turns and casting enough spells. It's a really fun one. In terms of things that we want to do with our Wilderness Reclamation mana, of course there's Nexus of Fate, but we also have Reign of Revelation, a pretty solid card that allows us to draw 3 and discard for 4 mana. A lot of the times we're going to want to just discard Jace because we can pick one up back with Tamiyo. We want to, we're fine to discard if we have a lot of fog effects. We're fine to discard a Veil of Summer because if it's not relevant, then it's not relevant and we can just get rid of it. There's a lot of reason to run this card. Additionally, we're running Growth Spiral alongside Wilderness Reclamation. This was a synergy that we would run back in the Standard days and the Historic days when this was legal, where you would try to Growth Spiral on 2, get a land out, and then on turn 3, get a Wilderness Reclamation out. And then the absolute nuts would be you would untap and then play your 4-mana draw spell. So if you could hit like that, you are just really doing well, and hopefully we'll be able to do that today. Now that we're playing in this no bans format, we also have access to Demonic Tutor, which is just another great way to find your Nexus of Fate for 2 extra mana. And if you have a Wilderness Reclamation with, I believe it is 5 lands, this is 7 plus 2 mana to 9. Yeah, Wilderness Reclamation with 5 lands can just get you a Nexus of Fate if you have Demonic Tutor in hand. So that's just absolutely really cool. And I think that that's going to make this deck pretty strong. Other than that, we have 2 counter spells just in case they come up. Maybe we need to counter something. Maybe we need to get a counter spell or Veil of Summer to protect our Jace down the line. All things that might end up being relevant. With that being said, we are just basically a Sultai lands-based deck. We are basically running 22 lands here and a bunch of good spells. So that's more or less the deck. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one as much as I do. This is one of my favorite decks in all of Magic. I've been looking for a reason to play this on the channel, and now I have one. I'm super excited about this, and I hope you guys are too. Before we get into the games, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by dropping a like on the video and commenting. You can also, if you are new here, show your support by subscribing to the channel. That helps me out a lot as well. With that being said, let's hop into some games. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This is our game 1. So we have 2 lands into a growth spiral that could potentially find another. I think this is fine. If we can cast a Rain of Revelation, I'm probably okay to get rid of like the counter spell or something. Seems pretty good. We'll show green first, make them think we're a channel deck, and then just cast a growth spiral on turn 2, which hopefully they just won't counter if they are a deck that is playing counters. Opponent goes Once Upon a Time finding Ulamog, so they themselves are the channel deck. Or they're Dark Ritualing out something. Demonic Tutor, and they just might have a turn 2 here. We cannot deal with that. We would need to draw exactly a blue mana here, and then that wouldn't work either. That's unfortunate. I think we're going to just die here to channel. Yep, that's a channel. Cast Ulamog, take our land. And, yeah, welcome to No Banlist Historic. That is gnarly. And they have to target their own land because I have only 1 permanent. Oh my gosh, that is just nasty. Well, I guess we'll just kind of take our 2 hits from Ulamog here and accept that L. Oh my gosh. I mean, hey, it's a channel world out there. We're only living in it. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and pass right back to our opponent here. Not much we really could have done. I mean, I suppose I can just Haze of Pollen 3 times. But we only have 30 cards left in deck, so we'll be left with nothing after that. Is it worth playing for a Jace win? Because Ulamog could exile everything. I would have to draw blue source, Jace over our next 3 draws. And we would get milled for 10, then draw, milled for 10, then draw, milled for 10, and then that draw would kill us because we would have nothing left. Okay, so our opponent's got it. We'll just go ahead and take our L here. I guess I'll just go ahead and concede. They don't need to continue this out. They've already done their combo anyway. Alright, well that was a very quick round 1. Welcome to the format, this very old deck of mine. It's going to be a fun time. Let's try to move into round 2 and see what we can do here. Okay, round 2, we get another try at this. This one I'm not sure I feel so great about. We would really like to see a Wilderness Reclamation or some sort of draw spell that's not for CMC. I'll mull this one, and I'm probably not going less than I'm not going to less than 6 cards. So I think I'll drop off the Rain of Revelation, and we'll play like this. We can turn 2 Demonic Tutor. We could also turn 2 Growth Spiral, turn 3... Yeah, it's hard to say, and I think we actually just might be up against another channel deck here. So what we'll do here is counter the channel then. Counterspell is a great draw. If they don't channel, then we have Growth Spiral. So let's see what they Demonic Tutored for. Assemble the team, that's fine. They could be going for a lot of stuff here. They could be going for protection for their combo. Like this Assemble the team could have... The first Demonic Tutor could have found Channel. The second thing could have found Veil of Summer, I guess. Here's Growth Spiral. Let's put a Watery Grave in tapped. And we'll go return. Wilderness Reclamation would have been a good draw there. I guess I Demonic Tutor, holding up Counterspell. We'll find a Wilderness Reclamation here. And we'll see what happens. Haze of Pollen is potentially good if it's just a big creature. Once Upon a Time, we're happy to see that. I wonder what they're setting up for. They just find an Elvish Mystic. I'm so confused. We counterspell this. And we get our turn back. I have to just play Wilderness Reclamation here. I would love to Tamiyo, get back Counterspell, and hold that, but it's not going to work. We just have to Wilderness Reclamation. And if they've just tutored for another channel, they're just going to have it. We just have to hope that these are going to be useful, these Hazel Pollen and Root Snare effects. They just find another Elvish Mystic? Oh, no. That was just available to us this whole time. Okay, so we get to go to our turn here. That is exciting. We get to slam a Tamiyo. And what I think we'll do is just go ahead and, since we have these in our hand, we can just start searching for more Nexus of Fates. Alright. We'll untap all of our lands, and now we have a Root Snare or a Rain of Revelation, depending on what is necessary. A Karn is scary, but not the end of the world. Let's see what they take out of here. They can still channel us. God Pharaoh statue. That is annoying if they decide to channel here. Oh, that's channel. Okay. Well, we're going to have to Rain of Revelation now. We go to 12. Here's Rain of Revelation. We want to keep the cards that are in our hand, most likely. I probably want this land, and I probably want that Wilderness Reclamation too, so I think I'll just discard the Root Snare. Wilderness Reclamation costing 6 is actually really bad for me. Oh my god, it's just Emrakul, they go to 1. Okay. Sure. So they're gonna Root Snare on my turn, I guess. Tamiyo, what do they take? What's the worst card? They just give me back a land. It's not the worst thing. They are going to cast my Haze of Pollen, sure. Alright, so they didn't know what to do about the Wilderness Reclamation. I can shock Watery Grave, but I'll die to an Emrakul. So it needs to be... Oh, wait, you know what? I can shock Wilderness Reclamation and then start doing Nexus things. So let me go ahead and play like this. We'll pay 2 life, cast Wilderness Reclamation. +1, searching for Nexus of Fate. There's still a very slim chance that we can be okay here. So let's resolve the first one. Let's float all our mana as a QQ. There it is. And then we'll, I guess, probably not pay for that. 4, and we'll have, it's 9. We'll have to pay 1 life. We'll resolve the Wilderness Reclamation, Nexus of Fate. Okay. And we get another crack at it. We can Demonic Tutor for a Nexus of Fate, I suppose. Breeding Pool, I guess that should probably come in tapped. I can prevent combat damage here. So I'll probably want to Demonic Tutor if I don't find it off of Tamiyo, or if I don't find a Nexus off of Tamiyo. I think we should have them here, actually. We search for Nexus of Fate. We're down to 30 cards in library. We can Demonic Tutor. Well, actually, unless I've milled all these cards. Haze of Pollen 1, Haze of Pollen 2, Root Snare 1, Root Snare 2. So I have 4 left in deck. We're going to Demonic Tutor for either a Root Snare or Haze of Pollen. Let's get a Haze of Pollen. So we have this. We can... Oh my god, I forgot the full control. Whatever, we have Haze of Pollen right now. The only thing that I would have done is just Growth Spiraled, so it's fine. Karn the Great Creator is going to be a bit of a problem here. Liquid Metal Coating is not an issue. It's fine. I would have loved for that to not happen, but it's okay. They'll be able to turn off one of my lands here. Let's just make some mana first. Resolves. I will just go ahead and Haze of Pollen now. It doesn't really matter. Auto pay. And they cannot attack anymore, which is good. They actually kind of messed up with this Liquid Metal Coating on my land on their turn. They should be doing it in my upkeep. another Karn. Oh, well, now they're going to be able to take out my breeding pool. No, they don't. What? They go for a Platinum Angel. Okay. Platinum Angel is a thing that I am trying to do. Okay, so here's Tameo. We're going to +1 Nexus of Fate. Let's see if we can find one this turn. We cannot. We will just go ahead and Demonic Tutor once again for our... you know what? We could actually just Nexus of Fate instead. That's pretty much the same thing. Nexus of Fate is actually better, I think. We'll put this in tapped. We will hold full control, resolve this. Here's resolves. Here is growth spiral. Resolve. We got another Nexus of Fate here. We will float our mana, resolve this, Nexus of Fate. Stop holding full control. I gotta remember how to do all this full control stuff. It used to be it used to be really annoying to have to do that. It's a bit better now, but it's still a lot of clicks. So we'll search for Nexus of Fate. We find a Nexus of Fate. And now we're down to 18 cards left. This is starting to get good. Hold full control here, float mana, resolve, float mana, resolve, Nexus of Fate, auto pay, Nexus of Fate, auto pay. Now we have 2 turns stacked up. Alright. We draw another Nexus of Fate. We search for Nexus of Fate.
To the library.
We find another Nexus of Fate, and we are getting down to where we want to be. So we'll go ahead and make sure to hold full control on our end step. End turn, full control, QQ, Nexus of Fate. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me not do it like that. I want to keep my life total up. Resolve, QQ, resolve, Nexus of Fate, auto pay, Nexus of Fate. There we go. Got to do this properly. Hard to do it while I talk as well. So this is 3 turns saved up now. We have a Tameo that's all the way up high. We're going to continue to look
I think you will
for Nexus of Fate. We know that we're going to eventually find it. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, so we can just cast Nexus of Fate off of the lands that we have here. And we are just going to continue. We'll let this go. And here's another Wilderness Reclamation, because why not? Let's take a Nexus of Fate. We have 2 more turns after this. So here is Wilderness Reclamation. We'll hold full control on our end step. Let's resolve Nexus of Fate, and then stop holding full control. Okay, there we go. And let's see, how many cards do we have left? We're down to 9. That means we're almost guaranteed to hit Nexus of Fate. We do draw one anyway. Here is Nexus of Fate. Alright, and then we will move to our end step after casting a Nexus of Fate. Alright, we will hold full control, resolve, Nexus of Fate, auto pay, resolve, resolve, Nexus of Fate, and we are good. Okay, so we have 5 things set up. We just need to make sure that we get the last few cards out of our deck. Nexus of Fate. We mill 2. We mill 3. That means that there are 2 cards left, which means they're both Nexus of Fates. We'll go ahead and cast this. And now we can go ahead and get our Jace back. So we'll just go ahead and do all this. It's fine. We will go ahead and minus returning Jace to our hand. We will cast Jace. We have 4 turns saved up, so we can just go ahead and pass right through. Untap, untap, untap. Tameo plus, we are going to search for Nexus of Fate, taking our final Nexus, and we will Jace plus to draw. And that is the game, and that is the combo. Oh my gosh, it just feels amazing to be able to do this in Historic again. I am giddy, so excited. This is amazing. Alright, so that was a win with Tameo Self-Mill. Pretty sweet. Got triple Wilderness Reclamation out, through a Godpharaoh statue and a Karn, about to liquid all of our lands. We survived in Emrakul. We pretty much did it all. This is just a blast from the past right now. I'm having so much fun. Alright, well that was a great round 2. Let's hop into round 3. Here we go. Alright, here we go. This is our round 3. We're started off with a 1-lander, which we cannot keep in this deck. We have double Haze. We have Demonic Tutor to find something. I think this is probably fine to keep. we saw last game how good a Demonic Tutor for a Wilderness Reclamation could be. So I'll put back a Haze of Pollen. This will be bad against any sort of creature-based deck, but it'll be good against any sort of combo deck. Well, we're already not really matching up well against any sort of combo deck, so I think this is fine. Put a Tomb in tapped. We can cast Tutor off of our blue land next turn. Inquisitive Puppet. Okay, so this might be some sort of creature matchup. We like to see that. I will play this in tapped. I think I'll just Demonic Tutor now for my Wilderness Reclamation. If we can just get that going, we are going to be really happy. I've got Haze of Pollen for whatever degenerate creature-based things they're going to pull out here. Assembling the team for something. What do you do with an Inquisitive Puppet? I don't know. So Breeding Pool can come in tapped. We have Haze of Pollen if it becomes necessary. And as long as our hand is safe, we have Wilderness Reclamation next turn into Reign of Revelation. Alright, well, there's the channel. We might just be absolutely done for right now. Karn the Great Creator. This probably gets Chromatic Orrery, and then they do some other degenerate stuff. At least that's what I've been seeing. Just an Aetherflux Reservoir. I would never have expected that. We have no game against artifacts. What happens now? Chromatic Star, sure. Oh. Okay, so this makes sense. They're going to be just trying to cast a bunch of zeros off with Aetherflux Reservoir. Okay. I am interested in this. Alright, so we're just going to have to click on through here. I imagine they probably don't play a lot of creatures here, but... Okay, so it is... They're using these Chromatic Stars to get Assemble the team off. What do they find? Obviously, they're going to be going positive with Aetherflux, so they probably found a Mystic Forge. Or something that draws them a bunch of cards. I think this is a very interesting combo. Ooh, Karn again, okay. So they get Aetherflux Reservoir, and then do they get the One Ring? They need something that draws a bunch of cards. Ah, Mystic Forge, there it is. Now they have their card advantage. Yeah, I'm all in for this. I'm just going to go ahead and let them do their thing. I'll prevent combat damage just so that I can avoid having to click through. And let's just sit back here, crack a drink open, and just see what our opponent's got for us. This has the potential to be a very interesting deck. There's Lembas. That is good for a card draw. And yeah, I mean, I think they just got it here. So this was a channel into Karn. They probably also run Dark Ritual into Karn. And then so Karn finds Aetherflux. That can be immediately casted off of channel. It can be delayed casted off of Dark Rituals. So I think the move here is probably just to always get a channel out. Yeah, wow, and they have Paradox Engine as well. This is a really cool deck. I'll definitely give this a try for the channel. I think there's a lot of potential here. Really interesting. I think that Karn packages are just so strong with channel. I think that's probably one of the most powerful things you can be doing here. And I think the metagame has really only begun to scratch the surface of what Karn can do. Yeah, I mean, I'm just loving this format. As things happen, I keep having a good time. Anyway, our opponent can hit us with a Aetherflux Reservoir at any point. I imagine they're just doing it in our upkeep. Makes sense. We are dead. Cool deck out of our opponent. I will definitely be borrowing this for a video in the future. Props to Kukuroro. Great deck. Alright, so that was our round 3. We have round 4 coming up. Let's try again. Alright, round 4. We got 2 more tries here. I would really love to be able to combo one last time here. Double Nexus of Fate is honestly not a very good hand. This is essentially a 5-lander, but we do get Wilderness Reclamation on 4. I think I'm going to be a bit greedy and try to find some sort of acceleration into Wilderness Wreck. Yeah, I will mulligan this one. Demonic Tutor's great. I think this is ultimately a much better hand. Demonic Tutor still finds our Wilderness Reclamation. If we draw one along the way, we can even just get a Growth Spiral out. And speak of the devil, there is a Growth Spiral. So it looks like we will be doing Mana Confluence on 3. Or, sorry, Mana Confluence into Growth Spiral. This is wrong. Hinterland Harbor into Growth Spiral, then dropping out an Overgrown Tomb. Next turn we get a Confluence out, and we have Tamiyo. Or something else, we'll see. Tamiyo could try to find Wilderness Wreck. Giver of Runes, so I think, is this Winota? Well, they're in black and white, so probably not. Sure, you can do that. They swing in, that's fine. Here's my Growth Spiral. Ooh, Bowmasters, sure. Bowmasters was a huge problem for us in the first game, so I think it's going to continue to be a big problem here. Luckily, we have 2 cards that can help us with that. Those being both of our Veils of Summer. So we have Root Snare. We have now a Haze of Pollen. So I'm going to have to just Demonic Tutor here. It's just going to have to be for Wilderness Reclamation. We'll go Wilderness Reclamation into Reign of Revelation. And we have to save our life total for the Orcish Bowmaster's pings we're going to take on our way to getting our Veil of Summer. I could just take 3 here. I could just take 3 here. Then I would take another 3 from Rain. Then I think I'll start using my, then I would start using my Fogs, because this would just be big. I think for a 2-1 and a 1-1, or sorry, a 2-2 and a 1-1, can rationalize taking 3. So I would take 1 anyway for Mana Confluence, so it's like, do I want to take 2 damage? I think it's just fine. Here's a land, here's a Wilderness Reclamation. I'm going to need to hold full control here and, well, not hold full control, but set a stop at my end step. I'll have to pay 2 life to get a Reign of Revelation out and hold up a Root Snare. I'll go to 11, take 3, go to 8. We are cutting it a little close with the life total, but we are going to give it a try. Let's take a damage here, make a blue, resolve. And then I guess we'll just do Rain now. We'll take our 1 damage down the line. Resolve. This one feels a little iffy here. We'll get rid of one of the lands. Let's see, how much black mana do we need? We already have access to 1. We have access to a lot of blue and green. We don't have our 3rd pip for Jace yet. So I will discard the Overgrown Tomb. Okay, so we take our 3 damage, go to 9. We're going to be getting a Tamiyo out later. And we have 3 Fogs total. I think we can make something of this. Especially if they tap out and we're able to find a Nexus. Juggernaut Peddler. That's tough. We're going to lose our Tamiyo. They can actually take one of my lands with this, which is a really cool interaction. Oh, they can't take a land. They can take anything but a land. So we're going to lose Tamiyo here. That sucks. We get a Juggernaut. Hip hip hooray. So we know that we need to fog here. Our opponent knows it too. Oh, they mana tithe that? Wow. Alright. You got me. Pretty interesting deck. Orzhov Control, I guess? It's kind of hard to say if this is Control or, like, more of a Death and Taxes style thing. I guess with Mana Tithe and Bowmasters and Giver of Runes, it kind of makes sense. Very interesting deck. This is an interesting one to think about in the context of this no ban list format because you don't really see a lot of board wipes here. I've played a couple Supreme Verdicts in like Bant Control and Jeskai Control, but I think a lot of creature-based strategies are safe here, which means that you're kind of all good to go for the Death and Taxes style of play. Again, really cool deck. I have plans to play with Juggernaut Peddler in the future here, so do expect to see it on the channel. But very cool deck out of my opponent. And they took a win there. So that was our round 4. We came close to comboing, but we were just barely snipped by the Juggernaut Peddler. Alright, so with that being said, that is our round 4. We have a final round coming up, and one last chance to combo. Here we go. Alright, here we go. We're in round 7. Round 5. What am I saying? Game 7 moment in round 5. Let's go. So we're here with a hand that is reminiscent of the one that we passed on last game. I think I'm going to pass on it again. Just banking on a Wilderness Reclamation is not that strong unless we happen to be playing creature-based decks. Opponent mulligans here. Probably means that we need to have some sort of interaction, and Veil of Summer Counterspell is pretty good to do so. I'm going to be a little cheeky here and get rid of the Haze of Pollen. I don't think my opponent's on a creature-based strategy. So we go Watery Grave. Let's see. So Veil of Summer helps us against Thought Seizes. Do I want to keep that up turn 1? I guess I do. But I also probably would like to have Counterspell out, so I will put this untapped and just say go. Overgrown Tomb, so this is probably a channel build. Hold up Veil. Do I want to cast Demonic Tutor for a blue land? Okay, so if this is indeed a channel build, what am I worried about? Will they do any blue or black things? I'm kind of thinking they won't, so let's Demonic Tutor. We'll find a blue source. I think the blue source that I would like is a blue-green source, so we'll take a untapped blue-green source. That means next turn we get to hold up both Counterspell and Veil, but I don't think it's going to matter. This is probably a channel here. Oh, just a War Master. Not at all what I was expecting. Here's Harbor. We will keep everything held up like we said we would. And now we got to think about what this black is for. Is this just elves souped up with tutors, maybe? I don't really like a War Master. They go too wide. I'm gonna counterspell that. Especially since I know there's not like a big combo happening immediately. So if they cast a black spell, I'm definitely holding this up. We find Wilderness Reclamation, so this is very good. So I can Tameo plus for Root Snare. They do get their Elvish War Master, so they're about to go wide. I'm going to have to find a Root Snare here, actually. This is going to be bad if left unchecked. Visionary, sure. Alright. This is not ideal. We need to find a fog, like, now, and we need to reuse it with our Tameos. Let's see what this draw is. It's a Nexus of Fate. That is a extra crack at it. So we will move to our end step. Hold full control. We're going to QQ and resolve, casting Nexus of Fate. And we get another chance at it. Pass the turn to ourselves. It is Reign of Revelation, which can happen on our opponent's turn, I guess. So if we just take the damage here. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If they play any sort of creature that buffs their board, we're dead. So I can either Tamiyo looking 4 deep for a card, or I can Reign of Revolution. So, okay. Tamiyo plus is a 4 in 49 chance. It's about less than a 10th. Reign of Revelation is draw 3. We're looking for 8. 8 things out of 49. That almost doubles it in only one less card looked. So I think I have to Reign of Revelation here. We'll discard Jace, and we don't find it. Our only choice here is to go to our opponent's turn, Growth Spiral, and then just pray that we hit it. Okay, our opponent is about to have their way here. If they produce a non-lethal attack, then I just Reign of Revelation, looking even deeper for our fog spells. Once we find one fog spell, I think we take over this game. If I had just a few more pieces of mana, I could Tamiyo minus get Tutor for a fog. Okay, so this is a non-lethal attack. We will just let that happen. Go to 4. Ah, crap. Is it target opponent? Oh, it is target opponent. Veil of Summer, baby. Let's go. We're hexproofed. Alright, so they can draw a card here if they'd like. They cannot target us. So that's huge. And now we get to Growth Spiral before our turn. Yeah, I'll put this out onto the battlefield. We will not pay life here. And we got a Nexus of Fate in hand, so there is potential here. We even draw the Root Snare, that's huge. So we're going to Tamiyo. Tamiyo will start to mill. We'll search for Nexus of Fate, I think, since we already have one in hand. We'll set a stop at the end of our turn, and then we don't hit it because I was bad about clicking the cards. Ah, that's so annoying. I hate when I do that. Definitely don't be like me. This is a great learning moment. You gotta set your... You have to set your stop when you have priority, otherwise it goes by it. It's kind of one of the little annoyances with playing this deck in particular. But I can probably stop holding full control here. There we go. So our opponent's doing their thing. We're going to Root Snare here. Actually, you know, we're still dead to a Shaman of the Pack. So perhaps that was a bit worse than I thought it was. They're going to continue trying to draw into a Shaman. They don't have the mana for it now, which is good. Opponent's going to attack. Here's Root Snare. And we are alive here. So let's give it a try. This is second Reclamation. We have set our stop here. There's a Reclamation. We will look for a Nexus.
Seek and find.
No Nexus, but we have more fogs in the graveyard. Hold full control. QQ, resolve, QQ, resolve, Nexus of Fate, auto pay, and then we also have Reign of Revelation. Sweet. Alright, now things are starting to look good. We find another Nexus of Fate. I'll discard the land here. Another Nexus of Fate turn, let's go. Pass our turn, set a stop. We're going to be doing the same sort of thing here. Nexus of Fate. Move to our end step. Hold full control. QQ resolve. QQ resolve. Nexus of Fate. Auto pay. Reign of Revelation. Stop our full control. Alright, there we go. Another Wilderness Wreck. I mean, we don't really need it, honestly. I guess I'll just get rid of the Wilderness Wreck and we'll just get more lands here. Nexus of Fate goes away. We have 25 cards left in the library. Pass the turn to ourselves. A Jace is here. That is kind of good, actually. we'll go ahead and
I
look
know
for
this
Nexus of
somewhere.
Fate. We don't find one. So we will get a Jace out here. Jace can draw. We will mill ourselves for 2. Draw a Nexus. So that means we will hold control at the end of our turn. QQ, resolve, QQ. We can just cast this anyway, so I'll stop holding full control. Alright, and we can resolve this. Pass the turn to ourselves. Here's a breeding pool. Enters tapped. Mill ourselves for 2. Draw. We want to thin this first for Tameo. We even get a Nexus off the top. So if we wanted to be actually very tight about it, what I would do is cast my Nexus first, which I actually don't have enough mana to do. Should have shocked that breeding pool. Whoops. We'll hold full control at the end of the turn. Here's the Nexus of Fate. Resolves. And opponent's seen enough. I think the kill was on the screen for them. It's just Tameo, loop Nexus of Fate till the library gets low enough, then win with Jace. Alright, well, we were able to make that one work one final time for you guys here in the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is my absolute favorite deck of all time, I have to say. I'm just so glad that we can play it again in this format, and that it is, at least able to hold its own against some of these decks. Obviously, this is a super high-powered format, so, the Delver of Secrets decks, those kind of boogeymen of the format that are emerging, are going to make it hard to play this kind of jank. But, I'm glad that we can get some games in here and have some good ones. We got 2 really good combos here today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching them. If you try this deck out yourselves, please do leave a comment below and let me know how you did. And if you got some videos, you can link those as well. I don't know if that would work on YouTube, but definitely get that out there. This deck is so much fun to play, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Only if you remember to set your stops at the end of your turn, so you don't blow past your Wilderness Reclamation triggers. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that is it for me. If you want to support the channel, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new. That's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.